Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another crypto community video with me, your host Ross. Today I'm going to be covering what is or are the best cryptocurrencies. An interesting question I had from a subscriber. But before we get into today's video, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe if you want to be kept up to date with all the latest news and information in the cryptocurrency world. I release videos every day on cryptocurrency, and with over 20 years experience in the financial and investment world, I believe I can offer you a unique insight into this area. So without further ado, let's get into today's video. So what are the best cryptocurrencies? A very interesting question, I thought, and actually it led me into another area, which was, how do I pick which cryptocurrencies to invest into? Essentially, if I'm investing into cryptocurrency, then I want to invest into the coins which I think are, inverted commas, the best. So that led me on to the question, actually, what do I look for in a cryptocurrency? And I thought, well, absolutely perfect video to provide to you. So what does best mean to me? In terms of a cryptocurrency, I'm going to be looking for this list of key facts in every coin that I'm investing into. So does it have growth potential? Absolutely key in any cryptocurrency. The reason why a lot of us in this game is to make a return on our investment. Also, I think many of us are big enthusiasts on the actual technology themselves. I myself am, and I know many of you are based on the comments that we've seen. So does a coin have growth potential? That is a really good point, and there's a few things to take on board when we're looking at growth potential. What does that actually mean? So larger coins can have growth potential, but arguably they may have slightly less, you could say, growth potential than other coins due to their large market cap. Do they have less potential to grow in terms of percentage gain? If we look at something like Bitcoin now, which is, we've seen the market dominance drop very slowly in sort of the 60s down to the 30s now in a relatively short period of time, of months, and other coins have been catching up, and what that's meant is the percentage gains on the lower market cap coins has been higher. So if you're looking for growth potential, then potentially that could come from a lower cap coin, something to take into account if you want to invest into cryptocurrencies. I always think that having a diversified portfolio is important, and one of those things is probably to consider the lower cap coins, because generally if you pick a lower cap coin, then that will have a general higher potential for growth. So on to the next point. We have, does it have a good wallet available? So something that not many lower cap coins actually have, you'll be surprised. Not many lower cap coins you'll see have reasonable wallets available. It's only when they come up to the sort of higher level of coins in the market caps, usually sort of in the 200 billion plus range, do they start having actual reasonable wallets available for us investors. So something like Ethereum, they have the Mu wallet, so the MyEther wallet, and there are obviously exchanges as well where you can hold your wallets, and there are other wallets out there. But whenever you're investing into a coin, it's always key, I believe, to look at what wallets are available at that moment. Holding money, or at least large amounts of money on an exchange, is definitely not a good idea. There have been so many exchanges that have been hacked, and I think personally it's always a good idea to hold your coins, if possible, on a wallet. But obviously you do need to be careful about how you're going to hold onto your wallet. So if it's on a USB drive or a hardware wallet, then you do need to consider about how that's going to be stored. But ensuring you have a good wallet, I believe, is an important factor when looking at a coin. And personally, I will usually buy onto an exchange and then move it onto a wallet where possible. So next, less volatility. Now what you'll see with many coins is that the price will rise and fall, but if a coin falls, for example, by 50%, then in order to get back to where it was, it will need to double its growth. So it will need to grow by 100% in order to get back to where it was previously. So a coin that's going to have a reduced volatility is going to mean potentially you're going to see higher gains over a longer period of time. So when you're going to see those smaller falls, it's going to require less overall growth in order to make back the losses that you've had. So looking for a coin of less volatility, that will be looking at something like Ethereum or Bitcoin, Neo, some of the larger cap coins which have more money invested. So the larger market cap a coin has, the more difficult it's going to be in order to reduce the price, simply being because more people need to sell that coin or cryptocurrency in order for the price to reduce. So I think having a less volatile coin is always a good thing to look for in terms of your portfolio, at least one part of your portfolio anyway. Some other good examples for me, I think Amisago is a fantastic one to hold if you want sort of reduced volatility. I really do see it as sort of a middle of the road coin that just plods along doing good work. I think Neo is a good example of that as well, and so is Ethereum. So they're the lower volatility picks. I do think that is a good thing to consider within your portfolio. So next, looking at the team, something absolutely vital. Now, whenever I'm picking a cryptocurrency to invest into, or simply when I'm reviewing my portfolio, I'll always look at the team. Absolutely key. Now, one thing I really think that many people miss is that look at the advisors on many teams. Well, I would take advisors with a pinch of salt, because a lot of those will be paid a huge amount of money in order to be advising a cryptocurrency team or firm. Advisors aren't going to be, I would say, hugely involved in the process. We just don't know how involved they're going to be. Is it going to be a weekly meeting, a monthly meeting, a 5-minute phone call every 2 weeks? We simply don't know. So I think having advisors is definitely a positive, the big name advisors, but it should be taken into account. It should be looking at the actual core team. Who are the core team? What experience do they have? Where have they worked? What have they achieved? How much potential do they have in order to bring a cryptocurrency to the forefront of the market and produce a successful project? So a good example of some teams and sort of the lower cap areas, I would say, some good strong teams. Nebulous, fantastic team they've got there, some of the founders of Neo. Obviously Ethereum have got a very good team that built a solid project up there as well. And then I feel Bitcoin obviously doesn't have a potentially strong team, I would say. That's one of the decentralized coins which is available out there. So really, how much potential does Bitcoin have to keep growing? Is it going to be the gold of the cryptocurrency world? Potentially it could be. But I would say if we're looking at other coins which have big plans to grow, something like Ripple or something like that, have big plans to continue growing, getting involved in the marketplace, they have strong teams. They're going to keep on pushing forwards, and that is what we need in order to see growth in cryptocurrencies, generally speaking, is a strong team to help push the project forward. So let's move on to the next point. Development. Now this is linked to the team already, but as I said, if we've got a strong team as well who are developing a project, improving it constantly, that is what we're going to need to see growth. Essentially, any business needs to develop and grow in order to improve, and if it can improve the business, that's going to help assist the profits, which then will mean improved returns for investors. So whenever I'm looking at any project, I'm going to be looking at the roadmap that they have and actually seeing, right, what are the plans? Where are the key points in the roadmap? Should I be investing before or after the roadmap areas? Where do I think the price is going to go in between the roadmap? And having a look at that development stage is absolutely crucial in terms of investing. So whenever I'm looking at a new coin, have a look at the roadmap and see what you think about when could potentially be a good price point to get into. If you're a strong believer in the coin, then any time to get into any coin can obviously be a good time if you believe in the long-term prospects of it. But development is another key point. Let's move on to the next one. So what does the future hold for that coin? Now, what I mean by that is, how can it be used within the real world applications? So what real life application and use does that cryptocurrency or coin have in the future? This, to me, is probably the biggest point, along with the team and growth potential. So whenever I look at any cryptocurrency, I want to know, what application does the actual coin that I am purchasing have in real life application? So a good example of that is XRP. We know that XRP as a coin can be used depending on which protocol is used through the Ripple net. So they can, financial institutions can use either XRP or they can use their own cryptocurrency. They don't particularly have to use XRP. If, let's say, for example, that no one was going to use XRP and everyone used their own cryptocurrency or whatever it's going to be, then the real life application of XRP may be very, very low. And if people aren't using it and it has no use, the price will simply drop. So with any cryptocurrency or coin, always consider, actually, what am I investing into? What use does this coin have? How is this coin invested into the project, and how is the coin value going to increase? There's lots of good examples out there. Another good example is Ethereum, where Ethereum needs to be used in order for the transactions to happen on its blockchain network. So the more Ethereum, for example, that is spent on the transaction costs, it means there's a reduced supply in the market, and a reduced supply in the market means that potentially the price is going to rise because there's less of that asset available to investors, and that can help increase demand on a smaller supply. Whenever we see that happen, prices will generally rise. So there's some of the key points that I think for me define what the best cryptocurrency is. So actually, I thought long and hard, should I actually give you what I think are some of the best cryptocurrencies? Well, I've mentioned quite a few cryptocurrencies in this video, and I thought that is all I'm going to do. I'm going to give you a few examples of these, but I'm not going to say which ones I think are the best at this moment. But if you do want me to cover what I think the best cryptocurrencies based on these 7 points here, then drop me a comment, hit the thumbs up button. Let me know if you'd like me to do that video, and I will bring that to you next. But for now, this has been me, the crypto community, bringing you another video on my channel. If you've enjoyed it, hit the thumbs up button, drop a comment below, come and join the crypto community, hit the subscribe button, and I will see you for another video very shortly. Bye bye.